Have you ever thought about a career in real estate beyond the borders? Imagine helping clients buy and invest in properties, not just locally, but around the world. Hi, I'm Carolynn Castillo, team leader with Absolute Top Dollar, powered by eXp Realty. Today's agent success interview, I sat down with the incredible Nathaly Salas from Unicorn Properties. Nathaly has built an international real estate business that allows her to live, work, and serve clients all across the globe. And she's going to share her exact strategies with us of how she built this amazing business. In this interview, you're going to learn how she turned her own experience of buying abroad into a thriving business. She built partnerships with agents worldwide and how social media has become her biggest tool for growth. Now, here's the exciting part. Both Nathaly and I are with eXp Realty, which means you have the opportunity to partner directly with both of us. So by joining our network, you'll get access to mentorship for international collaboration and the tools to expand your business beyond what you thought was even possible. So if you've been waiting to get the right momentum to level up your career, this is it. This is the moment you've been waiting for. After you're watching this interview, check the links in the description to schedule a call with me and learn more about how you can partner with both Nathaly, Carolynn Castillo with eXp Realty. So let's build something extraordinary together. Without further ado, let's go jump into the video. Hello guys, welcome to another amazing agent success video. And today I am sitting with Nathaly from Unicorn Properties, and she is going to share with us her amazing strategy in working international real estate. Nathaly, so thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Carolyn. I'm excited to be here. I learned so much by chatting with you on the last time we're talking. So I'm excited to share with your audience about international.
Thank you so much. I've really been excited to have you on and really deep dive because I see you everywhere on Instagram. Okay. I can't keep up what country you're in or where you're going, and it's very exciting to follow you and see your journey. So those of you that are not familiar with you, would you share kind of your background and how you got into real estate?
Sure. It's a long story, but I'll try to make it short. But my journey started in real estate when I had the need to buy abroad and I had no help to do that. So back in the pandemic, if you remember, we were able to work remotely. So I
Yeah.
was in corporate many years in technology. And when I was in, we were able to work from home full time. We went to Mexico. We went to Riviera Maya with my sister and my mom. So we were looking to see, we were just staying there for 2-3 months. And as we're there, we're like, well, this is nice. Everybody thinks Mexico is dangerous, but this feels pretty nice, safe, beautiful, close to the beach, nice weather. And we were thinking, my sister is also working remotely, and we are like, maybe we should buy something here because, instead of renting, let's buy. So we're looking to buy, and we engage one agent, and then we had to go with 2-3 different agents to get different information, educate ourselves on the process. Nobody there tells you, hey, this is how it is. They just give you their version of it. So we were like kind of putting the pieces together, investigating what's the truth of, if this is the only listings they have, if they're trying to be biased and selling us something that they're having their inventory but not showing us everything. So that started my curiosity in the process. And due to my frustration, because we were like working with 3 different people, I was like, can I just get one professional, that does their job right, that can explain to you what you need to do in every step of the way. So instead of that, I was we were experimenting. We put that down payment. We were biting our nails. We're like, what if that development doesn't get, developed, doesn't get built? And that process of uncertainty was kind of like when I started recording, my documenting the process for fun. And then when I came back to Chicago, I was like, maybe we should create something technology related, in Mexico, maybe to help the realtors have like an MLS or something, because we don't have an MLS there. And that started my search for a platform that was technology based in my head. That was like, that's the thing at least that I need to bring my clients over to Mexico safely and kind of guide them through the process of a buying experience that would be like in the US, but in Mexico. and then also adjusted to the culture too, because we had to adjust many things locally. And that's what led me to EXP. So I went to EXP. I learned about EXP, and then I went for my license. So it was kind of the other way around. So from the beginning, I had very clear that I wanted to do international and that I wanted to do it at least between these two countries. And then everything expanded after that, just exploded. So
Wow, that's incredible. So did everything go good with your property in Mexico?
yes, you got
They filled
finished
it.
on time, and it was a good developer. And then after that, I learned more. What are the good developments? What can go wrong? What some mistakes we need to avoid? Because many people come and then get excited because of vacation. You get into this excitement of like you just. What you were enjoying ourselves there, might as well buy something. But then there's a lot of people that, like anywhere in the world, they can
Mm,
be opportunistic and take advantage of that, and many people lose money in the process of the excitement. So I think I made my mission to educate people on the process at least, and be aware, some of the risks and the benefits as well, because there's a lot of benefits.
mm-hmm,
But it comes with some experience and observing, and you have to be there for a few years to understand that what's good, what's not good. If you
mm-hmm,
just arrive there, everything looks nice, but not everything is like compliant.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big journey, and I hear a lot of people, a lot of American citizens moving to Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's true. Like on the news and stuff like that, they say, "Oh, Mexico's so dangerous." But I'm like, how dangerous is it if so many Americans are moving over there and they're having, they're living there, what is it? Like you could live there for 6 months, right? And then in the US as well.
Yeah, you can live for 6 months legally, and if you overstay, instead of kicking you out, they give you residency. Mexico is really friendly on the immigration side of things. They welcome everybody.
Mm,
But if you want to just come and go for every 6 months, that's very doable too, because it gets too hot too, So people are like, maybe I go back home to Canada or US, the Midwest, to see my family, and then I come back for winter. So it's very normal pattern of people, and then they rent that unit for the time that they're not there. So we have a lot of those people that they don't stay there full time. I don't stay there full time either.
right.
We have a team locally that stays there full time, can see clients, and they kind of now operate the same systems in place that we do, so they know how to guide the clients through the process.
Nice. So it started in Mexico. That was your like personal journey, right? And it's always so neat how real estate are paths and turns that we take, because it like leads you where you're supposed to go, like you had to go through that whole process to then lead you to a whole business opportunity. So from Mexico, then where else have you how have, because I see you everywhere, girl. I see you like talking to someone in Peru. I see you talking. So tell me about that. How did it go from Mexico and your personal experience to then, going all over the world?
So I had, I didn't share with you this, but I cared for my mom for many, many years. That since 2009, she got sick. So when I was in Chicago, I was very focused on providing for her care and her health. So I couldn't travel as much. So then when we went to Mexico, and we saw that there was an opportunity for a caregiver that actually care for the person they're caring for. In the US, a little hard to have, people just treat it as a job. And I couldn't, we find any alternative for her to be okay. But in Mexico, we saw like a little heaven for that breather that we could have, instead of being there rat race in Chicago, working, working, working. Like if I make $100, I spend 99 in everything else. I was
Mhm,
burning out. So when we went to Mexico, I found that breather that I was like, oh my God, I can have a life. My mom is cared for. I can travel now. And to me, it was kind of like a poking my head out of, I traveled a lot before too, but it wasn't like I can just live for 2 months or I can
mhm,
live for a month. And so when my mom was there, I was like, my sister and I started traveling. And so I designed kind of, I wanted to live this life, and I designed my work around it. And
mhm,
that's why I kind of I don't stop traveling now. So now she's cared for. I start going to places, and now I can stay there for 2 to 4 to 6 weeks, and I can really go deep in the market and talk to the agents, locally there, attract other agents that are in EXP,
mhm,
and understand the everyday transaction, the way they share with you that you cannot learn in a Zoom or a book, because with
mhm,
international, it's still paper, very paper, based. You have to go to the city, you have to register, you have to find out the records, going to the city in person. Otherwise, they
uh,
cannot not everything is online. So there's a lot, to catch up on for the international. And this happens in almost in every country outside of the US and Canada that information is not digitalized. So there's a lot of, help that the client needs that is manual.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not like, hey, I'm using a chat GPT. Well, there's some information there, but there is not everything. And you cannot just chat GPT a title, name, number. There's so many records that go, so they have to dig into the city. And so it's more complex than it looks like from the outside, but I like it because I get to learn it by being immersed in the culture. I speak Spanish and English, so it's been
Yeah.
easy to navigate different markets. And it was just a sense of curiosity that I really wanted to learn. And what I found out is like all across the world, the transaction is always the same. From the beginning to the end is 80% the same thing. You have the buyer, the earnest money, the down payment, the payment methods or payment plan, and then the closing and the delivery, of course. But the 20% that is different is just the exception that I need to learn to understand how each country operates differently in the legal part, immigration part, or whatever, is the exception. But that's what I say. International real estate is not that difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand that there's risks. So you need to make the first thing you need to learn are the risks, because you need to, warn your client for that. And then the rest is easier, like getting
Yeah.
clients, doing tours, researching. That's the fun part.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, gosh, it seems so like magical to be a a realtor in some of these places, in these like islands and beautiful but so is it a lot of people from the States moving to these countries, or are you working with agents that are just facilitating local real estate transactions? Because I'm assuming the locals in Peru, like the locals in, Mexico, they are transacting, right? They are just buying and selling just as locals, correct?
Yeah, yeah. They have the local market, of course. My focus has always been whoever wants to cross a border, like from north to south, east to west. And
Got it.
then what is that transition like for somebody who's immigrating to a new country? And then with that comes a lot of nuances. When you're from a country and you're buying there, you know your market very well and you know how to transact. But when
Mhm,
somebody comes from a different place, they have to start from scratch. They have to
mhm,
not only do this, but maybe a couple more things for the legal or immigration part of things to be able to move. The same
mhm,
way that happens to the US. So we do inbound and outbound of the US. And what I work on mostly is creating the content and education, and then connecting the agents on the ground that are the best, at what they do, where they do it. And they come back and forth, So people from Peru and Colombia, Ecuador, they love coming to Miami or Florida,
mhm.
connect with their, Florida agents, and then show them the path to, buying in Florida if they're not Americans. And it goes also from Americans to Costa Rica, to
Mhm.
Colombia, to Mexico, and then or to even Portugal. So then, what is the path to go there? So over time, I've kind of learned a bit of everything to see the differences and the similarities. So that helps on the research part.
Wow, wow, that's so fun. That's a really interesting, like very niche, right? Like we have that very in common, right? That the type of people that we're helping is like a very specific situation. So let me ask you this. So are you basically just the connector of this process? You're not physically doing the deal. You're connecting the two people, whether they're from America and they want to buy, you connect them with maybe the consumer from America, and then you're connecting them with an agent in, I'm using Peru because my family's from Peru. So,
Oh,
uh,
you're from Peru too. I'm from Peru too.
really, yes. My husband's family is Peruvian, and so I'm very much in that culture and the food and everything. It's beautiful. Yeah. So, but if somebody wanted to, you're connecting the consumer with the agent, or likewise, the agent that maybe has a consumer in Peru that wants to come over here, the agent will reach out to you and you're connecting them with, is that what's happening?
Yeah, I have the agreements with the listing agents if I'm bringing a client, and I usually do the referral. So my business is mostly referrals and referrals back and forth because I'm not in one market at one, all the time. So I cannot
Hmm.
serve the client fully if the client is buying even in Riviera Maya. But we
Hmm.
have our agents there that I do the discovery calls, so I kind of understand the process, and I do the discovery call with the client at the beginning because sometimes the client doesn't know what they want, what they need, or how much they want to spend, or what are the payment plans. So that takes about 2 to 3 calls to understand. Sometimes at the beginning we nail it, but sometimes they're like, I want on the beach in Mexico. I'm like, okay, there's a little beach, and there's east and there's west, and there's differences too, and prices as well. So what's your budget? What do you want? How big is your family? How long do you plan to be there, and what's the purpose of the property? And then we narrow it down to be like, okay, so maybe Playa del Carmen is good for you, or maybe Puerto Vallarta is good for you because you have different lifestyle, or whatever it is. Do you like the sunsets or the sunrise? Like whatever they like. But then we have to narrow it down, and then I connect them with the agents. So I do the kind of all the research of the client, and when the agent gets the lead is kind of already kind of 80% there. All they need to do is pick a home or pick a project, and
Mhm.
that's the easier part because we already have a list of inventory that we go through, and we share that together. So I learn more about the inventory, and also they learn more about the client. So it's like a always back and forth collaboration in a way.
Wow, that's awesome. So literally you could be anywhere in the world doing deals.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I've been doing more of has been like the real estate tours. And
Okay.
real estate tours are physically people coming, realtors and investors or buyers, families that want to explore and scout the area without the pressure to buy yet. Because it takes a
Mhm.
minute to know that it's not like, hey, I woke up and I want to move to Mexico, right? It's more like, what do I do with my house here? What do I do with my kids? I mean, they're still in school, or maybe my kids went to college. I can now leave or be away for longer. So depending on where they are in life, then they can come and visit. Like they
Mhm.
will have a vacation, and maybe they just allocate 4 days to this tour, and we go through every single pocket of neighborhoods that they might not know about. We
Mhm.
have golf communities, we have family communities, beach communities, we have, digital nomads. And then based on what they like, they can see it, feel it, touch it, and they're like, oh, okay, so this is what 100,000 looks like. This is what 2 million looks like, and then they can be like, okay, so I think I can spend a couple hundred, or
Mhm.
I think this is doable, and then this is how can I do my payment plans. So it's an educational trip on the area. So we've done
Mhm.
a few tours in, well, Mexico a few times now because that's our primary market. Peru, Colombia, Portugal, and we did a small one in Barcelona while we were there. And we usually do the tours while some of the conferences in EXP are happening. So people are already traveling there. So they just
Mhm.
allocate before and after a couple of days to do the scouting of the area, because the more you know about the area as an agent, even the more you
Mhm.
can recommend it. But if you
Right.
don't know anything about it, you're like, well, it looks nice in the picture. When you
Yeah.
have experience, it's hard to recommend it to your clients back home, let's say in Chicago, in Wisconsin, especially in the cold states, right? People from Florida sometimes move to Mexico and not necessarily. So
Right.
people in Texas also, they're like, but they like the dry heat if they were going to move. But in the Midwest, that's our primary market, in Canada, because we freeze here. So then that's our clients that come to us asking, hey, I would like to do a tour. And that avoids also the effort of taking each client one by one individually.
Right.
And then sometimes they don't buy, and then the agents locally get frustrated because they just were a tourist guide, and then
Mhm.
nothing gets done after that. So that's kind of avoids, like that's what we do, group trips
Yeah.
a lot.
Like travel and buy real estate with
Yeah,
Natalie.
you're welcome
I
to join us.
love it.
Have them. We're trying to have them at least every 2 months, every 3 months around
Very
the world.
good. That is exciting. Very, very exciting real estate. Awesome. So you basically got into real estate, started with this model. So you physically have not necessarily sold in Chicago where you like your main house, where you live. You haven't physically done deals. You've just been like the matchmaker of real estate.
I had to do my deals because I had to pass my mentorship, at the
Right.
beginning.
Okay.
So then
Okay.
I did deals, and they also helped me understand the process. So I had
Right.
to, at the beginning, my first year, it was, I was doing the deals. But if you ask me to do a contract or something like that, I'm like, that's my least favorite thing. But I can do connections, I can do community, I can do people stuff.
Mhm.
When it comes to paperwork stuff, that drives me nuts. So I'm like, I'm just gonna focus on what I'm good at, and our agents sometimes locally they're really good at what they do, showing us, in the law, in Illinois, and all that. So I don't try to do something I don't know.
Mhm.
I did enough to understand the process, but I mean, don't. I mean, I'd rather sell in Mexico because we go literally in tours with a boat, with a catamaran, and we go from different houses instead of in Chicago. It's cold and snowy sometimes, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't motivate me too much. But our agents here are here full time too, so then I just send the leads that way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I'd rather do tours on the yacht, you know.
It's a little bit more fun. Yeah.
A little more fun. Very cool. Very cool. This is so interesting. I knew meeting you, it was going to be a lot of fun and learning about your experience. So, how do you then mentor other realtors to do what you do? Like where would someone even start to be able to follow in your footsteps?
So it depends if they want to be local and the receiving end of the transaction, or if they want to be mobile and come with us, travel with us. And, we have the calendar set up for whoever wants to come. Not only EXP, but we also invite any agent out there that might want to join, that want to explore this option, that might not have it through their own agencies, or their boutique agencies are very specific to this zip code, but they want to do international and they don't know how. And there's many other ways to do it, through NAR, CIPS, and everything like that. But then those trips are very expensive, in my opinion. I mean, like, they're good, they're organized, but sometimes you can spend $3,000 to $6,000 on a trip, when
Mm,
our scouting trips are like $400 or $500. And I mean, we don't cover all, the stay and the flights or anything. It's more like, this is like a conference. Like, I want to take you 4 days, education conference, showing you everything that you need to know and the
mm,
risk benefits. So it's kind of like spending money on your education. But we make them more affordable so we can do more of them. And to us, it's more about, hey, if you're at least aware and you can educate yourself, then you can protect your client in the other side. So
mm-hmm,
come here and then, anywhere, it can be anywhere, Latin America, Europe, India, and they don't know where to start, and then they're exposed.
mm-hmm. So they can come on a tour with you, right? Which this sounds phenomenal. Okay. Come tour with Nathaly, okay, in these exotic places. And so the realtors, take you up on this opportunity. They go with you. You're kind of leading the way for them, connecting them with trusted professionals. I think that's the biggest, fear maybe some people have in another country is like, you don't know the way around, the language, the culture. Like, I'm always scared when I go out of the country, I'm like, I think I'm gonna get like kidnapped and, all the things. But and then so basically, like you said, they like know they physically have felt it, they can really explain it. So then they go back to their marketplace and then they basically become like a spokesperson or an advocate for people in that area that want to buy real estate in Peru, Mexico, all the things.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
this kind of education trip, you don't have to live in the country. You don't, I mean, people have kids, sometimes they cannot travel. And if at least they want to do a tour, it's good. Otherwise, we train people online too on different countries.
Mm,
Um, so it's not like they have to like really change their lifestyle unless they want to. But then they can join whenever they want, if they can, throughout the year. And then there's different times of the year that we set them up. So it's more about, if you want to, you can, online from your house or physically there, and or just at least get educated. We have a school community.
okay.
In our school community, we have all the classes that we have, like the how to become an international real estate agent, and everything that we also done for research. So we talk to other agents from different parts of the world. They share with us what's their market like, what's good, bad neighborhoods, what's a good price. Because otherwise, when you go there and you don't know what's a good price, they think you're American. They're like, oh well, you're used to pay 500, 500,000, and but they don't, sometimes locally they don't understand that we get mortgages, we get benefits here. No, nobody has $500,000 laying around to just go and put it in a home in Portugal. But some people in Portugal might
Mhm.
think that Americans have all this money, and you know they think that they're going to come with a bag of cash, and I'm like, that's the farthest from the truth. Americans, you live in debt. So
Yeah.
they're looking for options for financing, and if you don't explain that well enough, the agent on the ground might get frustrated. They're like, oh well, you don't have 100,000 in the bank. No, nobody has. No, I mean, like, very few people have that. uh, but they do look for the options to, like, sellers financing, like, how do you get a mortgage locally. And now in Mexico we're able to do mortgages locally for people who live abroad. And it's very new, within the last year and a half, that they launched that. Before that, you did have to pay cash, or you had to work with sellers financing. So there's many methods to do. In different countries are different. But by the more you know, the more you can, a client when comes, I mean, it's not, the client is not going to come every single day asking you for this, but once a month, once every 2 months, they'll ask you about it. But then at least you have a little knowledge and, like, hey, let me connect you. and
Mm-hmm.
we pay the referral. So then they make money by sending us the client. We close the client, and then everybody wins by
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to those extra methods of making extra money. It's
Mm-hmm.
just not, you don't have to do anything additional to what you already do. It's just kind of getting informed. So you pay attention to, oh, I heard about this. I can
Mm-hmm.
connect you. And all you have to do is connect, connect us, and we'll see, how long it might take, how difficult the client is. And based on that, we do the percentage split. If it's
Mm-hmm.
somebody who comes like, hey, this is my cash, let's go 50-50. I mean, let's close. But somebody that takes a minute, is going to think about it, it's going to take a year, 2 years, we're going to be like, maybe it's, we can split 10%, we can give out 15, 10%. And it's based on the complexity too. So we're pretty conscious about that back and forth.
Yeah, so there's also a opportunity inside of your group to do referrals and to do business together.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Awesome.
That's the most important one. I mean, nobody wants to do anything for free or, if you don't make any money, but
Right.
it's fun to travel too. So it's a business expense for realtors.
That's what I was gonna say. You're basically traveling for free. You're writing all this off because you're, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's our market. And if you make this your market too, even every scouting trip that you do is tax deductible because you're just educating yourself on what else is out there that you can make more money from. So it's a win-win. I mean, you get a quick,
Oh,
get away from the snow trip in
yeah.
December and maybe do some business there. And the more you know, the more you can, offer your clients.
Right. So the realtors that you've worked with so far, so you're like, taking over the world, like literally, okay? But do you find people as I was gonna say crazy, or I should say ambitious, okay, as you, or do you see that realtors maybe say, I just wanna, work for Mexico, or I just wanna work for India or Peru? Do they pick like one country that maybe they have some connection with or something like that, or do they do follow your steps and just go worldwide?
It depends where they're in their lives. Like I shared with you at the beginning of my 20s, I couldn't travel. Like if somebody comes with this opportunity, I'm like, no, I can't. Like I wish I can, but I can't. I mean, I want to, but I can't. But then over time, it depends where you are in your life and how much crazy you want to get to. Because I love what I do and I love how we do
You
it.
said it. You said it.
You can join the crazy club. I mean, I love it. But there's people like different types of their, different areas in their lives and how their responsibilities are and their budget too. But if somebody wants to do this, they can do it from home too. So it's not like you start to, take a plane every month. Like sometimes we travel so much that it's like literally once a month or somewhere. Like I'm never home. Like I'm Chicago based, but I'm here like 3 times a month, three months a year sometimes. And in
Mm,
Mexico, sometimes I spend a little more time because I am all winter there. So from October to April, I'm in Mexico, and supposedly the other half I'm in Chicago, but I'm traveling between two. So,
mm,
but that's my schedule. That's what I like to do. Nobody has to do anything that I want to do, but anybody who wants to join all the trips, they're welcome to do so.
mm-hmm,
Because we just allocate it, and then we also have partners that can come and then if they bring guests, I mean that's everybody wins. They will make money out of those commissions as well.
mm-hmm,
If they bring agents, they can adjust, adopt them into their downlines. We had a new agent joining in Portugal after the Portugal tour. She was from a different boutique brokerage in Florida, and she liked how we worked, and we were, we're all friends, and it's like work, but it's more like a friendship. So she's like, well, I love what I see, because by experience is much better than telling somebody something over a Zoom that, hey, you should join my team or group. So like,
mm-hmm,
hey, we've had this experience. I mean, feel free to join if this aligns with you. And
mm-hmm,
more agents are like thinking about, hey, what am I, small brokerage, why I don't open my doors to more options. Maybe my
mm-hmm,
market is slow in Dallas. Maybe I want to sell Mexico. But they don't have
yeah,
to pick a country unless they want to. We share with them all the education on all of the countries we cover, and they can pick and choose what aligns with them or what
mm-hmm,
other language they might speak, and they're
yeah,
comfortable, with English, Spanish, Arabic, whatever is comfortable for them. I don't speak French. I mean, I understand the French market, but I'm like, that's a difficult market. It's not my favorite. And also the taxes, Germany and France have high taxes, and similar to Canada, like 50% of their income goes, away in taxes. I'm like, I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't sell there. I don't believe on that product, but we have agents there that will sell, if you want to buy there in Paris. A lot of
mm-hmm,
French people come to Mexico because they are running away from the high taxes. So then it depends on what product you believe on that you want
Mhm.
to sell. To me, Mexico is easy to sell because the property taxes are so low, the maintenance is so low that to compare these numbers, my condo in Chicago, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, maybe 1,300 square feet near downtown. I pay 7,000 in taxes per year. If I have the same size in Mexico, I probably pay 600 per year. So 7,000 or 600. And I'm like, why am I gonna, I'm like, now this is an Airbnb and it's making its own money. So, it has its own P&L, but I'm not gonna put it on my pocket to maintain a place that I'm not gonna live at just because I want a big house or small condo in the city. So to me, the numbers have to make sense. And I feel like a mission to share with people what the numbers are, because when you retire and you're in a very tight income and inflation keeps going up and you have this income, I mean, I love Florida, but then the taxes are high too. I mean, property taxes. And
Mhm.
that's another bill you have to account for, plus insurance, plus HOA. So when we compare the numbers to two different markets, to Playa del Carmen, Riviera Maya, Merida, it makes sense. And then if they overcome the propaganda that Mexico is dangerous, because I'm not saying it's the safest place, but there's no place that is safe anymore. We have more shootings in the US than I feel like anywhere else in the world, or
Mhm.
maybe it's like documented, right? So it just depends on what's your level of adventure, like how
Yeah.
much you're willing to
Yeah.
to trade, for like a more comfortable and less expenses. So that's what I'm passionate about, showing the numbers. That's why
Mhm.
there are certain countries I wouldn't recommend if you're retiring. There are some countries that I would recommend for digital nomads. And there's some countries that are growing quite a bit, and there's a lot of opportunity and still very low. So it's like catching, like the 2008 prices in the US. But, they're going through a hurdle with economy, let's say in Colombia. So you
Mhm.
can buy for less something in front of the beach. So those little
Wow.
tiny things that, no, we don't even care to search because we're like very safe in our, home. It's
Yeah.
if you get curious, there's so much that people can learn about, the numbers and how everything plays around the world that might give you that, curiosity to come and visit and come and explore and just plug into one or two trips here and there. And you don't have to do it full time unless you want to, and you're welcome to do that because we love more people, with us.
Well, I think after this, I'm gonna book a call for.
Let's go to Mexico.
Okay, I think I need a place in Mexico now.
we
But you said it, at the beginning of the call, that, you make $100 in Chicago, you spend 99. And, I see that all the time when my husband's family comes from Peru. I think that, America has always been this allure, of come to America, come to America. And people that come here from Peru, I mean, they're leaving like huge houses, full help. Like I'm talking about, like I'm not talking about a cleaning
driver.
lady. Okay, okay. I'm talking about breakfast served. I'm talking about laundry done. This like breakfast, lunch, dinner, like everything is like, and so they come here, and I'm like, why are you here? Like, why would you leave that, because yes, America, we're free and we have all these, luxuries and stuff like that, but we work our asses off,
Mm.
like there's like in other countries they have like the siesta, they have a lot of time for the family. There's none of that here, like the culture in America is work 7 days a week, like 12 hours a day. Like there's like, oh, you want a bigger house, oh, you want that car, well, you're gonna work for it, like you pay to live here big time, so yeah, I think what you're doing is like incredible because, probably a lot of Americans want to leave, right? Or they want to have, while you have your retirement here, make your retirement in another country, where your money will last longer, like you did with your mom, like caring for the elderly here is literally like probably like 10 grand a month,
Yeah,
to get full-time help for your loved one when they're in that time of need is like 10 grand a month, you know?
yeah.
And I mean, not many people can afford that, you know? And if you can't, so if you can't pay 10 grand to take care of your loved one, then that means for most people, they end up having to leave their careers, stop working so they
Yeah.
could be present, take care of their family in need, you know? It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, you know?
Yeah. It's like you're gonna spend time or money, and like you said, we just don't think outside of what we know because we are so set in our ways. And I've been set in my ways for many years. Like I've been in the US for 20 years, and I kind of learned that. But the good thing is that you learn that discipline of working, working, working. But when you take that discipline to somewhere else, it's so easy to be successful anywhere so quickly. And I'm not saying it's gonna happen overnight, but when I go to Mexico, I'm not saying Mexico is the solution, but oops, but the the one that we I see the most is because it's the closest. So when it's the closest, it's because it's convenient and you can fly. If anything happens, you can fly 2 3 hours. You're back home. And for me, it has been more about the numbers because once you start seeing that and how like 10,000 a month, like that's crazy. And I had to work like triple hard to make sure that that gets paid so that I can have a life, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And when you find a breather, like you were saying, full time help in the house, sometimes in America we overlook that because we're not used to being helped. Because we're like the hustlers, we're the heroes of our own lives, and we can do everything. And then you're burnout, and you want to explode. And if you're a mom, probably also caring for an elder or a kid is the same time similar investment sometimes, depending. But after the pandemic or during the pandemic, I think more people realizing how if you have if you want to spend time with your kids, how you know time investment. There's a big time investment to do that, and you want to do that too because you want to be with your kids. You don't want to have kids just to leave them. Hey, go to school or go to here, go to there. But when I was traveling and this happening in India and Morocco, in Peru as well, South America, of course, most people get help in the house, and you're helping somebody else pay their bills too because some people look at it, oh, you have a maid, like is a demeaning thing. And I'm like, no, you're creating a job.
No,
And
and
they're
they're
grateful for
happy.
it. Yeah, they're grateful for it.
No, the people in the houses that are taking care is not like the American attitude. No,
No.
they do not have the American attitude. They are like so thankful. The nanny that my husband had growing up, his family ended up helping her to come to America. Still to this day, she's like Cardino with the family, with like it's such a different experience. Whereas, like, even I've had cleaning ladies in my house, and they're kind of like, and it's like, no, like, you need to humble yourself. This is the opportunity. You chose to to clean houses. Like, I don't know. Like, you should be happy about it. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just the attitude, where people are envious in America, and I see like with other countries, it's like they're much more humble, they're happy to serve, and more loyal, like if I could have full-time help in my house, all the things I could do, okay? But
People become
no.
very productive because then you get time back for yourself or to do what you're best at and you can provide back more. I think it's an overseen it's economic opportunity because by creating jobs, you're helping out other families. And it
Mhm.
happened to me the same when I was my caregivers in the US would take their job for granted and acting as if they were doing me a favor. And for many years, and 15,
Exactly.
16 years, my mom needs care. And I had to pay out of pocket. And and I was like, girl, I'm giving you 80% of my salary after taxes. After taxes. Like literally, I just don't understand. I mean, I would stay home if I could, but I need to develop my career. So it's just like the lack of gratefulness sometimes that you feel wherever you go. It doesn't have to be the US, but we're so entitled sometimes here because
Hmm.
you can always make more money somewhere else. But I think
Hmm.
that the economy right now is kind of collapsing.
Yeah.
People
So
gotta realize and appreciate
maybe
their
everybody
jobs.
needs it to come down to reality.
Yeah. I love to spoil here.
Natalie, you're amazing. We could probably talk here till the sun comes up. I want to touch on something before we wrap it up. So, all this amazingness that you do, really, you built this foundation off of EXP, right? Because if it wasn't the brokerage itself, EXP, the model, then this would be very challenging to do, right? Just without having that platform. So, Can you tell us a little bit about that as far as like EXP's, growth into all these different countries and share that with us? Because I don't think people really realize how global EXP really is.
No, yeah, and I love the expansion because to me, is that we touch more cultures and we can understand more of each other. And without the platform, there are many agents that I know. Oh yeah, I do international with Remax, with Century 21, with this, with that. I'm like, but you know they're franchises, and you still, when you send a lead, it has to go through the franchise owner, the manager, the blah 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 blah. So many layers, and your commission split gets so diluted that you're like, oh, I mean, I'm not gonna send a referral for $200. I did all this effort. But when you have everything clear with the system in EXP and the referral platform, that is just you and I talk and we have an agreement of how much we split. And then when I get paid, you get paid. And there is that trust. Because outside of the EXP platform, you're not promised to be paid, get paid, because an agent that is in the system somewhere else, if they disappear with your commission, and it happened to me before in Mexico that I sent a referral and the lady disappeared. And I was like, okay, that was a learning curve for me. So having the right systems, the community that is trusted, and the education is super important, and the expansion too. That you can do it on your own, yes, but good luck trying to talk to every single development and trying to understand if they're good or not, and trying to trust the local agent that might or might not tell you the truth. That's a whole different level for me of risk. So
Mm.
people can do it on their own, or they can join a platform that is almost 80% there, meaning like all you have to do is the connections of the one-on-ones. I want to know who am I working with and what is the market like. But you
Hmm.
have everything laid out for referrals, compliance, who you want to look for in a directory. The map opens up. Now it's going to open Korea, and Japan is opening soon. So I don't know anything about the market, but I've been in Japan. But
You'll definitely be there, that's for sure.
so I'm like, I'm curious, I'm like, how do you operate there? But then that is the safety net for me, that from here's the base and then you can take it anywhere, like anywhere.
So I don't know if it's too many countries, but how many countries is EXPN? Like what countries are we in? Do you know all of them?
27. Oh, okay.
27 countries?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, I have a list here.
Tell us. Enlighten us. What countries are we actually in? Because I mean that like what you're saying, that's huge. Is so do you do the referrals off of the same platform that we would use in the United States? Like if I refer me and you were to refer a deal from Florida to Chicago, is it the same platform?
It's the same. The referral platform, the global one, is exactly the same one, and it goes to different countries. And whenever it closes, you get paid. Whoever sent it gets paid after the close. And
Wow.
it's pretty easy. I mean, in America, in the whole America, we're in the US, Canada, Mexico, Colombia, Panama, Puerto Rico, Chile, Brazil, Dominican Republic. In Europe, we're in Spain, Italy, Portugal, France, Germany, UK, Greece, and Poland. Poland just recently opened. And I was there without knowing they were going to open. So if I knew, I was going to spend more time there. In the Middle East, we're in Dubai, Israel, South Africa. I want to have a tour in South Africa soon, in February probably. And we're in India, Hong Kong, Australia, and New Zealand. Recently, we just opened Turkey, Egypt, and Peru. And Ecuador just opened as well. And Japan and South Korea, I think, is opening now, like in the next week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
So excited
Wow.
about
I'm
that.
very proud, to be with a company that is, taking over the world, literally, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
The best part, you can reach out to anybody in that country and they're really willing to cooperate and to work together. That's not that's not granted in every country, because some people are like, no, I'm doing my own thing. This is my agency. You can come to work for me, or that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here we're like, hey, are you in Turkey? How does the Turkey market work? I mean, I have a client that's from Turkey, but maybe was thinking to go there for some, property. How can I start a conversation? And they can give you tips on that. So it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like a community of back and forth education.
Wow. You've definitely opened my mind, okay? Thank you so much. So I'm gonna put, of course, all your links, Instagram, YouTube. What is the best way for people to find you and connect with you?
Instagram is the easiest. It's under my name, Nathaly Salas _.
Yeah.
And our YouTube is Unicorn Properties. And you can find all our videos, education, workshops, and masterminds there. And of course, I can send you our school. a link that is free for anybody, any agent or investor that wants to join and learn more about the tours. And that's more the hands-on part of the, if you want to actually make it happen.
Yeah, you want to be crazy like Natalia.
I self call myself crazy, so.
Okay, you said it, not me. Okay, but it's a very exciting life, a very beautiful life. I'm so happy that you're leading this and just blazing the path for other people to come alongside of you and join you in this. So, thank you so much. It was a pleasure getting to know you and your business. And you want to get in touch with Nathaly, all her information's below, and we will see you guys on the next one.